Every beginner potato growing mistakes you should know. Explained. Every beginner potato growing 10 mistakes. Mistake 1: planting at the wrong time of year. Let's start with the very first thing that can go wrong, and it happens before you even put a potato in the ground. Timing. Potatoes are a cool weather crop and they absolutely hate heat. Here's something a lot of beginners don't realize: it's not just the cold you have to worry about. Summer heat is just as dangerous. If your nighttime temperatures climb above 55 degrees Fahrenheit, that's 12 degrees Celsius, or your daytime temperatures push past 80 to 26 degrees Celsius, your plants will grow big, lush, full of leaves. But when you go to dig them up, nothing. No potatoes. Because tubers simply will not form when the soil is too warm. The plant puts all its energy into surviving the heat rather than producing food. So check your local frost dates. Plan your planting window carefully. Potatoes reward patience right from the start. Mistake 2: using store-bought potatoes instead of certified seed potatoes. Grocery store potatoes are routinely treated with chemical sprout inhibitors. These are designed specifically to stop potatoes from sprouting during transport and display. So even if yours look like they're sprouting, those sprouts are often weak, chemically compromised, and unlikely to produce a healthy plant. But the bigger issue? Disease. Store-bought potatoes can carry soil-borne diseases. Diseases that don't just affect one season's crop. They can contaminate your garden soil for years to come. The very same disease responsible for the Irish potato famine. You don't want that in your garden bed. Certified seed potatoes, on the other hand, are tested, inspected, and guaranteed disease-free. Mistake number 3: not preparing your soil properly. Potatoes grow underground. That sentence alone should tell you everything about why soil preparation matters so much. If the soil is compacted, dense, or rocky, your tubers have nowhere to go. They can't develop properly. You end up with small, misshapen potatoes that were literally fighting for space the entire season. Potatoes need loose, well-aerated soil to a depth of at least 12 inches. That depth gives roots room to anchor and tubers room to swell. A good growing mix combines your native soil with compost for nutrition and structure, plus something like coconut coir to improve drainage and aeration. Roughly 50% native soil, 40% compost, and 10% coconut coir is a solid starting point. If your garden soil is naturally heavy clay, raised beds or even large containers with a proper mix are your best friends. Set yourself up for success from the very beginning. Mistake number 4: neglecting proper plant spacing. It matters enormously. Each potato plant needs roughly 12 inches between plants and 24 to 36 inches between rows. That's not a rough guideline. That's what the plant genuinely needs to reach its potential. When plants are crowded, they compete for water, nutrients, and sunlight. Every one of those resources gets split between too many plants, and every plant suffers for it. A common misconception is that more plants per square foot means more potatoes per square foot. The data says otherwise. Overcrowded plants produce smaller tubers and lower total yields than properly spaced plants growing the way they're designed to. Measure your rows. Mark your spacing. Resist the urge to crowd. Your harvest will thank you. Mistake number 5: inconsistent watering. Water is where a lot of well-meaning gardeners quietly undermine their crops. Potatoes need consistent moisture. Not too much, not too little, and crucially, not wildly swinging between the two. The target is about 1 to 2 inches of water per week, from rain or irrigation combined. Deep, thorough watering once or twice a week is better than light daily watering. It encourages roots to go deeper and makes the plant more resilient. Drip irrigation or soaker hoses are ideal because they deliver water to the root zone without wetting the foliage, which reduces disease risk. A simple test: push your finger 2 to 3 inches into the soil. It should feel like a wrung-out sponge. Moist, not soggy, not dusty dry. That's your target. Mistake number 6: skipping hilling and mounding. This is the one that surprises most beginners, because it's not something that comes up much outside of potato growing. But skip this step and you will regret it. Hilling, the process of mounding soil up around the base of your growing potato plants, serves 2 critical purposes. First, it creates more underground space for tubers to develop. More space equals more potatoes. Second, and this is the one people don't expect, it protects your potatoes from light. Gently mound soil up around the base, covering roughly half the exposed stem. Repeat every few weeks as the plant grows, building up hills that ultimately reach 10 to 12 inches high. Some gardeners use straw or leaf mulch as part of their hills, which also helps retain moisture and regulate soil temperature. This isn't optional. It is one of the most direct influences on how many potatoes you harvest and how safe they are to eat. Mistake number 7, wrong fertilizing approach. The mistake most beginners make is treating fertilizer as more is better. It isn't. And specifically, too much nitrogen, the first number in any NPK fertilizer ratio, is a quiet yield killer. Nitrogen drives leaf and stem growth. A smarter approach works in 2 phases. At planting, use a balanced fertilizer, something like a 4:4:2 NPK ratio, to give young plants what they need to establish. Then, about 1 month in, when plants are getting established and moving toward tuber formation, switch to a high potassium fertilizer, something like a 1:6:8 or February 4th 10 ratio. Potassium directly supports tuber development. That last number in the ratio should be significantly bigger than the first. Fertilize twice. No more. And always slightly under-fertilize rather than overdo it. With potatoes, restraint is a virtue. Mistake number 8, ignoring pest monitoring. Healthy soil and good growing conditions go a long way toward natural pest resistance, but they're not a complete shield. The key word in pest management is early. Make it a weekly habit to inspect both the upper and lower surfaces of your potato plant leaves. Colorado potato beetle eggs are bright orange, laid in clusters on the undersides of leaves. Spot them early and you can deal with them before they hatch. For home gardens, hand-picking adults and larvae and dropping them into soapy water is surprisingly effective. For aphids, encouraging beneficial insects like ladybugs and lacewings creates natural control. Row covers protect plants during early growth. Watch your plants. A few minutes of observation each week can save an entire crop. Mistake number 9, harvesting too early or at the wrong time. But patience here pays off. For main crop storage potatoes, the ideal harvest window opens after the foliage has died back naturally, usually 2 to 3 weeks after the tops have yellowed and collapsed. This waiting period is not wasted time. It's when the tuber skins are hardening and thickening, preparing themselves for long-term storage. Skin that isn't properly set will be thin, easily damaged, and prone to rot in storage. A simple test. Rub the skin of a dug-up potato firmly with your thumb. If it stays firmly in place, the potato is ready. If it slips or rubs off easily, give it more time. Different varieties also mature at very different rates, anywhere from 60 to 120 days from planting. Know your variety. Track your planting date. And if you're growing for immediate eating rather than storage, new potatoes can be harvested earlier, when the plant is still flowering, but understand these won't keep. Mistake number 10, rough handling and skipping the curing process. The final mistake is one that experienced gardeners often only learn after losing a whole storage crop to rot. You've grown beautiful potatoes. When harvesting, insert your fork or spade at least 6 to 8 inches away from the plant stem. Lift the soil gently rather than driving through it aggressively. Once tubers are visible, use your hands to ease them free. Handle each one like it's fragile, because it is. After harvest, do not wash your storage potatoes. Next video, we are going to go even deeper, because knowing the methods is one thing. Knowing how to read your crop, spot problems early, and make decisions in the field in real time, that is where the real skill lives. Stay with us. The next video 1 builds directly on everything you just learned.